Hey, welcome in everyone. It's Dan French. This is Wealthytainment. Today we're going to talk about Hyundai and Amazon, and also how Amazon is taking on Bally's as well, which they've helped with a buyout on Bally's, which is a sports network that Amazon's really trying to dive into different areas of business. And we want to talk about what's happening with Amazon and what is their goal in all this, and what are they going to try to do long term? Are they going to keep expanding? They already have a monopoly over many of the competitors out there that are out there, selling things online, stores. It's way more convenient. And now they're trying to sell Hyundais on Amazon, which they're doing now. And also they just bought out or have a small share of Bally's, which is a network, a sports network. So, Chris, what's going on, my brother?
My brother, how are you, man? It's
I'm
always a
wonderful.
pleasure. It's always a
Yeah.
pleasure.
How you been, man? You know what? You look real good in this camera, man. It looks slick. Like you look good right now.
Oh, well, thank you, my brother. I
Yeah, you look
appreciate it.
good, man. It looks like you've upgraded your hardware.
Yes, I did. So I ended up getting after hours and hours of rabbit holing, as some call it, or as I call it, I should say, and just looking at different videos that I like to watch in terms of the clarity and the quality. And then, there's always a link down. Hey, if you like the camera that I'm using, if you like the mic, the links to, links and such are down below with the affiliate. And I came across this one. It's the Sony ZV-E10. And I'm completely satisfied with the camera. It's wonderful.
Yeah, man, you can't go wrong with Sony. So let's get into this, man. So we had a article that came out, somebody that came on and was talking about Hyundais being sold on Amazon. And it's interesting because selling cars. Now we know that there's been other places that have sold cars that they have them delivered to your house. I guess Amazon now is going to sell Hyundais, and they're going to use Alexa inside of their cars to sell with these cars, and they're going to have it delivered right to your house. Now you're somebody out there that is in automotive sales industry, and what is your impact on this? What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, first and foremost, I'm all about free commerce. That's just one of the beautiful things I love about America. If there's another business that can come in and make it easy for the consumer, the customer, the client, however we want to word it, I'm all for that. I think that it creates competition. It creates people to get off their ass and not allow an Amazon or Google or a AutoNation or maybe Elon Musk come in and take market share. A lot of Elon Musk's success is that the price is the price. You can order everything online, and in a sense, Elon Musk has cut out so-called a middleman with selling Teslas, and not just because of the electrical side with Tesla, but the customer service and the easiness and being able to do everything online has also fueled Elon Musk's success. And I think a lot of people don't realize that he is not a car company. He's a technology company, and he happens to sell cars. So with that being said, it's Hyundai. They're going to roll it out, see how it happens. But yeah, you can go on to, according to the article, you can go on to Amazon and order a brand new Hyundai. I think it's great.
Let's listen to what this person had to say, and then we'll come back and give you our opinion on this.
With Amazon, which is comprised of three pillars. The first pillar, which to me is the most important, is about the possibility for the consumers to buy our Hyundai products online. Not many people know that we started this partnership back in 2018 by having a showroom experience. And we are very pleased with the evolution. So we decided to be able to go through the end-to-end experience. So basically, the consumer can get into the Amazon environment. They can choose the vehicle they would like to shop. They can choose the configuration, the color, and actually the dealer they would like to buy from. And they can check also, obviously, the price, the incentive, and everything else. They can also finance the vehicle online, and even when the program is fully developed, they'll be able to trade in their current vehicle or even buy a CPO. So we announced this program today. We're going to start a pilot phase the first quarter of 2024, and we will deploy it through the entire portfolio starting in the second half of 2024. This is just one pillar. The second pillar is about the integration of Alexa in our vehicles starting 2025. This is also a fantastic news for our consumers, that they already know how Alexa works and will be able to connect from their car wireless voice recognition system with their smartphone or with their homes to operate their home from the car.
All right, so we're back. And so when you look at Hyundai, you know, my opinion is it's okay for Amazon to do this with, you know, putting Hyundais out to sell. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about Bally's too, but I think just in general, Amazon is, I feel like they're crossing the lines a little bit of just being a monopoly, because it's not too long where they're going to start trying to sell. They're already selling those boxable houses or those box houses. They're going to start possibly giving out loans. And so there's a lot of things that you think Amazon selling these Hyundais, is that really good for the economy? Does it create monopoly? I believe it does. I believe it's not a good thing, because I think a lot of people, you know, it's going to take away jobs, or potentially take away jobs at Hyundai dealerships and dealerships in general. Because what if they start getting relationships and contracts with Amazon in the future? I think it could potentially have a problem. Just like with, you know, them buying into, you know, Bally's. You know, the Hyundai spokesman came out and he's all happy about it. Yeah, it's great, and they're jazzed about it. But, you know, with Hyundais, you can go on there, you could pick your different colors of cars, you know, have it delivered to your house in 2024. And so, you know, a lot of these services and things that's going on, they have a cloud provider that now they're putting in Alexa inside of their vehicles. So these things are, to me, is a monopoly. And I feel that is more AI and more jobs like this where people are selling things. This is a big purchase. This is not a small purchase, but buying a car, to me, is one of the big purchases most people make in their lifetime. You align that with maybe a house, or maybe land or something like that. But we all know that cars don't appreciate as much as they should. You know, obviously, depending on what car you buy. But they teamed up with Bally Sports here with Amazon, you know. And so Bally Sports, they've come in and now they're a minority shareholder of Bally's. And I just feel they're trying to dive into so many different pockets that they already are a big corporation. Yes, it provides more convenience and it provides a lot of jobs, but you got to look, you know, Bally's and Prime Video, you know, they're already doing Thursday Night Football. So Chris, what do you think, man? What do you think about it?
Well, Dan, I don't think it's a monopoly at all, brother, because they didn't buy Hyundai. It's a partnership. Okay, they don't own Hyundai. And I don't know. We'd have to look up the definition of a monopoly, but they don't. It's a partnership, you know, in a sense. Now with Bally's, correct, they bought Bally's, but they didn't buy an entire sports betting conglomerate. You know, they bought a fledgling, holding on to its last limb, betting service. And if a business can come in and get something for pennies on the dollar, and they feel like their platform can enhance this dying business, I'm all for that, brother. I don't think that it takes jobs away. Now, the Hyundai, would that potentially down the future, could Hyundai look at that and say, hey, listen, we don't even need dealerships anymore? But that doesn't really hurt Hyundai. That just hurts the local dealerships.
If you look at the situation here, yeah, it does affect that. But I disagree with that, because they're already a you know, top 500 company in the country. They already have and are worth billions of dollars. You know, when you look at Hyundais in general and how these corporations are working together, this is the problem we're having. Because if you have, let me give you an example. Let's say that you have Amazon come in and now they want to team up with somebody else. Let's say Lexus or somebody else. You start to gain momentum. You start to become bigger and greater and more power. And then ultimately, when you have politicians, political parties, or decision making going on, don't you think that they're going to be able to sway some lobbyists or people or pay them off or say, hey, listen, and that's the problem with corporations is corporations have an agenda. We talked about BlackRock and a lot of these companies. There's always an agenda. When you have that much power, and then is it going to take out people's positions and jobs? It probably will. I mean, don't you think if it's not Amazon, maybe another big company is going to come in, an online company that's going to try to sell cars and now make a profit off that and cut out the middle person? I disagree with it, Chris.
No, I mean, you have Carvana and they're dying slowly. They're hemorrhaging money.
Yeah, but they don't have a big investor, Chris. They don't have a big investor into this.
No, Carvana did when they started out. They came out and they said, oh, let's cut out the middleman. It's going to be a great thing. And dealerships at one point were a little, I don't want to say scared, but I could see maybe some slight concern there. You know what I mean? And we'll just use Blockbuster, Hollywood Video. They were slow to the race. And then you have Netflix, who we've all, I don't know if we've grown to love it, but I would say probably 98% of people have utilized Netflix sometime in their home. And then you have a Netflix who comes by, and I don't think that everyone should just get along so no one else can ruffle feathers. I don't agree with that. If you have a business and you're not willing to make it better for the consumer and you're not willing to pivot and keep up with the times, then I'm not saying you deserve to get wiped off the face of the earth, but that's your problem. The future is just going to keep evolving. In terms of your point about lobbyists and how that works, Dan, that's a people problem, not a corporation problem. That's greed and not enough mindset and power addiction and whatever that is. You're going to have that anyway. Now, I don't agree that you should just stay in your corner and not get too big and just only do enough because you don't want anyone to get offended or lose their job, in a sense. No different than if you have a business and you've got, let's say, a receptionist, or you got someone who's on the sales team and they're not pulling their weight and they're dragging ass, and then you get someone else who comes in, interviews, and they're a stud, superstar, him or her, and they're deserving of that manager role, then that's the person who should get the job. You shouldn't just keep things in order because you don't want to get too big. And I think that's a problem.
Yeah, but I think you're taking this at a level where you're talking about not you personally, but personal people's, motivation. I'm talking about something far big than most people. Like a lot of people can do online sales with cars. We know that. And maybe that kind of transitions into this position where you're starting to do an online, sales position as a car dealership if these things start to keep going this way. But what I'm saying is there's too much power when it comes to Amazon, and there's too much power to dictate over a monopoly of things like car dealerships and cars. And it's like, what's next? We know AI's taken over a lot of things. Will there be jobs left? And I understand you're saying, well, competition amongst others and it's fair. Hey, I'm all for that. If you go in and you kick ass and you're trying to do a job and you're there grinding and you're past the hours of work and you're putting in the time, hey, you deserve everything that you get. But what I'm saying is if you have a competition, or you have a Amazon, which is not really a person at that level's competition, they're coming in and dictating the direction at a mass level or a big level of what Hyundai's doing. And Hyundai's, obviously they got to appease that relationship with Amazon, vice versa. You got to think that it's not good. You at that level, being a manager or trying to get a role, is not really going to make any difference in that position, in what I see.
Okay, I see that side of it, but I still don't think they're a monopoly because they're not buying Hyundai. It's a partnership. They don't own Hyundai. They're not controlling.
But the monopoly is not about Hyundai. It's about what they have as a whole. Look, if you own Amazon and you have many different connections, you have already, like I said, one of the top companies in the country. You're worth billions of dollars. I get it. You want to keep growing and enhancing your business, but at what point do you stop? Or at what point do you say, well, do we dive into that market? Because if we dive into that market, it could open up the gates for other markets and other big online companies that's going to take away these jobs. And unless they keep these jobs, as being it's an online job where you meet with this person, maybe directly at the dealership, but everything's done online. There's no more traditional, you come in, you go through the process. Hey, I get all that. If they keep those positions available, great. Then it's enhancing, it's making life better, not just for the person buying the car, but also the people that are going in to deal with that and the people that work there. But if you're going to come in and say, well, we're just cutting out the middleman altogether, or middlewoman, whoever it is, and you're not going to have a say-so, and you're basically going to come in and Amazon's going to say, just go click a bunch of buttons and you'll have your car delivered, you don't have a job.
But Dan, the marketplace wants that. You know how many people hate going to a dealership? Hundreds of millions. Nobody wants to go to the dealership and sit there and go back and forth and negotiate on a damn car deal. That's why this is going to work. And then you're still going to have people touch, feel, see, drive. I'm that person, especially a purchase of that magnitude. Unless I'm buying like a car that I already know. Let's just say I'm buying a Benz or I'm buying another Genesis like I currently own, a Lexus, something like that. Then yeah, I would feel comfortable about purchasing that car, sight unseen, so to speak. That's me. However, most people are okay with that. They don't want to go to the dealership, man. It's not a fun place.
Well, listen, going to the dentist, but real quick, go ahead. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Unfortunately, that's a people problem. Back to what I'm saying. If dealerships were upright, if dealerships didn't play shitty ass games, if dealerships were honest, and I'm not saying there's not dealerships that don't do that, but I'm talking about as a whole. Hey, they call down there, they ask if a car is there, they say it's there, they get down there, it's sold. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes dealerships just lie and say it's sold just to get you down there, do a bait and switch, put you in something else. They lowball on trades. There's or. And so because of that, Amazon and Hyundai, they listen to the marketplace and they say, hey, listen, let's cut that out and people can buy a car, a Hyundai at least, and let's just cut out all the noise. That's back to a customer service issue. It's been going on for decades now. People don't like the dealership, Dan. They just don't. And that's why this idea and this partnership will work.
So I'm going to say this, man, and we can agree to disagree. I think it will work, but I also think it's going to have casualties that come in with it. And look with Bally's. Bally's was a sports network that was almost going bankrupt. They had to come in and help out. And I get that part of it. But again, it's just you got so many things, so many tentacles out there in different fields that you're just growing that empire. That empire might be one of the big players in the country about how things move. What we've seen is a lot of power. It starts to go in. Look at what happened with FTX and this guy that was making that false money, and he's sitting there paying politicians big amount of money so that way he can directly impact how people and how things are voting. I mean, think about it. If you're a whatever party, I don't care, but if you're putting in a lot of money, that's the problem I have. Is once they get too big, then they start to try to direct how the world is going to go and the economy. Obviously, the U.S. economy is the biggest economy, or second biggest, I guess, but we're one of the powers that directly impacts how things go. That's my problem with it, Chris. And I'm just going to say, I think it's you get to a point where, do you really need to get into Bally's? Do you really need it? And listen, I get it, but do you really need to get involved on that level? I know that nobody likes to go into the dealership, Chris. I know it. Okay. It's not about the fact that they don't go in and people, it's like going to the dentist. Like I was telling you, nobody wants to go to the dentist, but I do want to say that I'd like to interact with people generally because I can get an idea about what they're doing. And plus, I'll be honest with you on this too. I'd rather have somebody in a dealership benefit because they're working for it and I'm communicating with them, being in a sales position, being in an entrepreneur position, and knowing that they're trying to make their money versus, hey, sign here, here, and here, and then you probably get paid a little bit of money or a little commission. That's not really, like, for me, I understand. Do I want to go to a dealership? No, but I do also know that when you go to a dealership, it is engagement with people. You just hope you're getting somebody with integrity. Overall, though, I'd rather deal with a person than just have my car delivered.
Okay. And there's still going to be a lot of people that prefer that. We don't know how the partnership's going to work out. I don't think that Hyundai is going to deliver the vehicle from their manufacturing company. I think what they're going to do is they're going to team up. Me being in the industry, I have some insight on how that works. And you order the vehicle, and then what's going to happen is that you'll pick that vehicle up, either pick it up yourself, or that vehicle will just be delivered from the local Hyundai in your town. So the dealership, you're not really cutting out the dealership altogether. Those vehicles are delivered to a dealership, local Hyundai dealership in your town, and then that vehicle will be delivered from that dealership to the home. That's how I think it's going to go. I would have to say probably about 90%. I think that's how it's going to go. I don't think it's going to come shipped straight from Hyundai to the home.
Yeah, it's coming from the dealership. You're absolutely right. So if I said that wrong, yeah, it's coming from the dealership. But at the end of the day, you're still involved, and you're not really involved on the decision making. And also, too, is there going to be a cap on how much you make now versus what you could have made? You know, being that you're actually doing more work to sell somebody. But if you guys have any questions out there related to Amazon and how they've become a big or bigger conglomerate than they already are with Hyundai, with Bally's, and will this stop? You know, maybe you guys have an opinion. You know, is it good for Amazon to, you know, make this more convenient, or do you guys like the old traditional way of dealing with people and also, you know, having somebody that you talk to at a dealership to get your car? This is Dan French, Chris, Wealthytainment. We'll see you guys at the next one. We're out of here.
Appreciate y'all.